If you're over 60, your refrigerator could be silently poisoning you right now. I'm talking about 6 everyday foods that millions of seniors store wrong, turning healthy ingredients into health hazards. As a longevity expert, I've seen too many seniors suffer from digestive issues, blood sugar spikes, and even exposure to carcinogens, all because they trusted the myth that cold storage keeps everything safe. Most people think refrigeration preserves nutrition and prevents spoilage, but for these 6 common foods, the opposite is true. Today, I'll reveal which foods are secretly harming your health when refrigerated and show you the proper storage methods that could transform how you feel within just 1 week. Before we dive in, please don't forget to like and subscribe and open notification bell for more tips about seniors' healthy aging and longevity. 1. The tomato trap: how cold storage kills your heart protection. Tomatoes sit in millions of seniors' refrigerators right now, their owners believing cold storage keeps them fresh and prevents costly waste on fixed incomes. But what nobody tells you is that refrigeration destroys the very compounds that protect your heart from disease. University of Florida researchers found storing tomatoes below 54 degrees Fahrenheit deactivates hundreds of genes, especially those making lycopene, the heart-protective antioxidant, permanently. When you put a tomato in your fridge, the fruit's flavor and nutrient-producing genes go silent. The damage happens fast, and here's the worst part: it's permanent. Even if you take that tomato out and let it warm up, those genes never turn back on. Think about what this means for your health. Lycopene is one of nature's strongest protectors against cardiovascular disease, which remains the leading killer of adults over 60. Your body can't make lycopene on its own, so you depend on foods like tomatoes to get it. But when you refrigerate those tomatoes, you're throwing away that protection without even knowing it. The tomato might look the same on the outside, but inside, the enzymes that create heart-protective compounds are dying off one by one. Most people skip this next step and regret it later. While your tomato sits in that cold environment, flavor compounds start vanishing too. The natural sugars that give tomatoes their sweet taste begin breaking down. The acids that provide that bright, fresh flavor disappear. What you end up with tastes like cardboard because that's essentially what it has become, a shell of its former self, with most of the good stuff gone. But what most people miss is how this affects seniors specifically. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at absorbing nutrients from food. We need every bit of lycopene we can get to protect our hearts and blood vessels. When you refrigerate tomatoes, you're not just losing some nutrition, you're losing the medicine that could help prevent the heart attack or stroke that changes everything. Your independence, your ability to live at home, your quality of life, it all connects back to these small daily choices. The University of Florida research shows exactly how this genetic shutdown happens. Cold temperatures trigger a stress response in tomatoes that makes them pull resources away from producing beneficial compounds. It's like the tomato goes into survival mode and stops making the very things that make it valuable for human health. Hundreds of genes that should be working to create flavor and nutrition just switch off, and they stay off. If you're not careful with this, things could get worse before they get better. Many seniors have been refrigerating tomatoes for decades, missing out on years of heart protection. But here's the good news. This genetic damage is completely preventable with proper storage. You don't need fancy equipment or expensive solutions. The simple fix is storing your tomatoes at room temperature, stem side down. This position helps prevent moisture from getting inside through the stem scar, which can cause faster spoilage. Keep them away from direct sunlight, but not in a cold environment. Room temperature allows those hundreds of genes to keep working, producing the lycopene and flavor compounds your body needs. Within days, you'll notice the difference in taste, and your heart will get the protection it deserves. But there's another food you probably store wrong that creates an even more immediate problem every time you try to eat it. 2. Bread's hidden danger. Why your fridge makes every bite harder. Bread creates this exact problem every morning for millions of seniors. You sit down for breakfast, ready to enjoy your morning toast, but every bite scrapes your delicate gums or cracks your denture seals. The bread is tough, dry, and so hard that your jaw starts to ache. You probably blame the bakery or think you bought a bad loaf, but what nobody tells you is that your refrigerator caused this problem. Most seniors store bread in the fridge, thinking it prevents mold and makes it last longer, especially when you're trying to stretch every dollar on a fixed income. You probably think it works like this. Cold temperatures slow down spoilage and keep your bread fresh for weeks instead of days. But actually, refrigeration makes bread stale 6 times faster than leaving it on your counter. The simple fix is storing your bread at room temperature in a bread box or paper bag. Cold temperatures crystallize the starch molecules, pushing moisture out, which is what gives bread its soft, pleasant texture. The colder it gets, the faster this crystallization happens. Here's what happens inside your refrigerator that changes everything. Research from the Institute of Food Technologists shows that bread stored at refrigerator temperatures becomes stale dramatically faster than bread kept at room temperature. Within just 24 hours, that soft loaf you bought becomes noticeably harder and drier. Those starch crystals create a grainy, almost sandy feeling when you chew. Your saliva can't break down the crystallized starches as easily, so the bread doesn't soften in your mouth the way it should. Most people skip this next step and regret it later. For seniors with dentures or jaw problems, this becomes a real obstacle to getting proper nutrition. Hard bread can discourage eating enough high-fiber foods, leading to constipation or weight loss. The natural flavor compounds in bread start breaking down in cold temperatures too. These volatile organic compounds give fresh bread that wonderful smell and taste we all love. In the refrigerator, these compounds disappear fast, leaving you with bread that tastes like cardboard, because that's essentially what it has become. If you're not careful with this, things could get worse before they get better. Many seniors have been refrigerating bread for years, missing out on the simple pleasure of a good piece of toast or sandwich. When food becomes difficult to chew or tastes bad, you naturally start eating less of it. This can lead to reduced calorie intake and poor nutrition, especially problematic for older adults who may already struggle with appetite. The texture becomes increasingly difficult to manage as the crystallization continues. What starts as slightly firm bread becomes genuinely hard to bite and chew. Your teeth have to work harder, your jaw muscles get tired faster, and if you have any dental issues, eating becomes uncomfortable or even painful. This seemingly harmless storage choice affects your daily nutrition and eating pleasure in ways you might not even realize. Doctors rarely talk about this, but it could keep you out of trouble. Store your bread at room temperature in a bread box or paper bag, never in plastic, which traps moisture and encourages mold. For long-term storage, slice your bread and freeze individual portions. Frozen bread maintains its texture perfectly and thaws quickly when you need it. This simple swap preserves softness and taste while stopping mold, crucial for seniors with weaker appetites. Within hours of switching to proper storage, you'll notice how much softer and more flavorful your bread becomes. But there's another common food that creates an even more dangerous problem when stored in your refrigerator. 3. The potato problem. How cold storage creates cancer-causing compounds every time you cook them. Most seniors think cool storage keeps potatoes fresh longer, especially when you buy them in bulk to save money on a fixed income. You probably think it works like this. Cold temperatures slow down sprouting and extend shelf life for weeks or even months. But actually, your refrigerator triggers a dangerous process called cold-induced sweetening that transforms harmless starches into sugars that become toxic when you cook those potatoes. This isn't just about taste or texture. University of Idaho found refrigerated potatoes triple their sugar content in 2 weeks, creating carcinogenic acrylamide when cooked hot. That's not a small change. It's a complete transformation of what's inside that potato. These excess sugars don't just make your potatoes taste weird. When you cook them at high temperatures, those sugars react with amino acids to form acrylamide, which the International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies as a probable human carcinogen. What makes this especially concerning for seniors is how our bodies become less efficient at processing toxins and fighting off cancer cells as we age. The last thing you need is to be creating carcinogens in your own kitchen without even knowing it. Every time you fry, bake, or roast a refrigerated potato at high heat, you're producing compounds that could increase your cancer risk. It's like turning your kitchen into a chemistry lab where the experiment goes wrong every single time. If you're diabetic, this cold-induced sweetening creates another serious problem. Those excess sugars that form in refrigerated potatoes can cause blood sugar spikes when you eat them. Your body expects a certain amount of starch from a potato, but it gets hit with much higher sugar levels instead. This makes it harder to manage your blood glucose levels and can throw off your entire diabetes management plan. You might think you're eating a healthy, low-sugar food, but you're actually getting a sugar bomb that your refrigerator created. Most people skip this next step and regret it later. The acrylamide formation happens fast once you start cooking. French fries made from refrigerated potatoes can contain 10 times more acrylamide than those made from properly stored potatoes. Even baking or roasting at temperatures above 250 degrees starts this dangerous reaction. The browner and crispier your potato gets, the more acrylamide you're creating. But here's the good news. This dangerous transformation is completely preventable. Store potatoes at 45 to 50 degrees F in a dark pantry, outside the fridge, to prevent both sugar buildup and greening toxins. A pantry, cellar, or even a cardboard box in a closet works perfectly. Store them in paper bags or baskets that allow air circulation, never in plastic bags that trap moisture and cause rotting. Make sure you keep potatoes away from onions too. Both vegetables release gases that make the other spoil faster. Keep them at least 3 feet apart, and your potatoes will stay fresh and safe for up to 3 months instead of becoming toxic within weeks in your refrigerator. Next, discover the shocking effect refrigeration has on onions.
4. Onions' deadly secret: when humidity breeds carcinogenic mold. Onions stored in your refrigerator create an even deadlier problem than potatoes. Refrigerated onions can develop aspergillus molds that produce aflatoxins, potent liver carcinogens that put seniors at serious cancer risk. Many seniors store onions in the refrigerator thinking the cool, controlled environment prevents spoilage and makes them last longer. You probably think it works like this. Cold temperatures keep onions fresh and safe from bacteria and mold. But actually, your refrigerator's humidity creates the perfect breeding ground for deadly mold that produces these toxic compounds. The humidity level in your refrigerator is around 95%, which sounds good for keeping vegetables fresh. But onions need the opposite. They require dry conditions with humidity levels of 65% or less to stay safe. When that high moisture penetrates the onion's outer layers, it creates ideal conditions for aspergillus mold spores to multiply rapidly. This isn't just any mold. These molds produce aflatoxins, which the International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies as Group 1 carcinogens. That means they're known human carcinogens, not just suspected ones. What makes this especially concerning for seniors is how these aflatoxins burden the liver, already less efficient with age, raising cancer risk significantly. These toxins are among the most potent cancer-causing substances ever discovered. Your liver has to work overtime to process these toxins, And as we age, our liver function naturally declines. This makes older adults particularly vulnerable to aflatoxin poisoning, which can lead to liver damage and significantly increase your risk of liver cancer. Your immune system, which should help protect you from these toxins, becomes less effective with age too. That's not even the worst part. This mold growth happens without obvious warning signs. You might not see the black spots on the surface right away. The aflatoxins can contaminate the entire onion long before you notice any visible mold. By the time you see something that looks wrong, those toxic compounds have already spread throughout the onion. Every time you use that onion in cooking, you're exposing yourself to these carcinogens. The double danger comes from what cold storage does to the onion itself. Refrigerated onions show a 270% sugar rise in 2 weeks, ruining flavor and cooking quality. This massive sugar spike completely changes the onion's flavor and texture, making it soft and mushy. Ice crystals form inside the onion cells, rupturing their structure and preventing proper caramelization when you cook. You end up with onions that don't taste right and won't cook properly. Most people skip this next step and regret it later. The University of Minnesota Extension warns about the importance of keeping storage areas clean because condensate from cooling units can contain heavy metals and dangerous pathogens like Listeria monocytogenes. These pathogens thrive in the cool, wet environment of your refrigerator. Regular cleaning helps, but it can't solve the fundamental problem of too much moisture for onion storage. If you're not careful with this, things could get worse before they get better. Many seniors have been storing onions in the refrigerator for years, unknowingly exposing themselves to these cancer-causing compounds. The invisible nature of aflatoxin contamination means you could be eating these toxins regularly without realizing it. Your aging immune system struggles more each time to handle these toxic exposures. Store onions in mesh bags in a 45 to 55 degree pantry, never in the fridge. A pantry, basement, or even a paper bag in a closet works perfectly. Never store them in plastic bags, which trap moisture and speed up mold growth. Keep them in mesh bags or baskets that allow air to circulate freely around each onion. Make sure the storage area stays dry and check your onions regularly for any signs of sprouting or soft spots. Proper air circulation prevents moisture buildup and keeps those dangerous mold spores from taking hold. But there's another kitchen staple that loses its most powerful healing properties when you store it wrong.
5. Garlic's lost medicine. How cold kills nature's antibiotic. Garlic stored in your refrigerator loses approximately 50% of its allicin content within just 10 days, robbing you of nature's most potent antibiotic when you need it most. Most seniors store garlic in the refrigerator, thinking cool temperatures preserve its potency and prevent those green sprouts from forming. You probably think it works like this. Cold storage keeps garlic fresh longer and maintains all those health benefits you've heard about. But actually, your refrigerator destroys allicin, the powerful compound that makes garlic work like medicine in your body. Allicin is what makes garlic special. This compound gives garlic its antibacterial, antiviral, and heart protective properties. When you crush or chop fresh garlic, enzymes create allicin from other compounds naturally present in the clove. But cold temperatures severely damage these enzymes and reduce allicin production by enormous amounts. Research from the University of California, Davis, shows that storing garlic in the refrigerator leads to approximately 50% allicin loss within just 10 days. Think about what this means for your health as a senior. Your immune system naturally weakens with age, making you more vulnerable to infections, colds, and other illnesses. Garlic's natural antibiotic properties become more important, not less important, as you get older.
When you refrigerate garlic, you're throwing away half of nature's infection-fighting power. Every clove you use has been stripped of the compounds that could help keep you healthy and independent. Cold makes garlic sprout bitter green shoots and grow harmful molds, cutting its antibiotic power in half. The visible signs of garlic going bad in the refrigerator are your warning that the medicine inside is dying. When garlic sprouts, it's using up its stored energy and nutrients to grow those green shoots. The compounds that should be protecting your health are being converted into plant growth instead. Most people skip this next step and regret it later. Many seniors rely on garlic supplements because they think fresh garlic isn't potent enough. But what they don't realize is that properly stored fresh garlic contains much higher levels of active compounds than most supplements. By refrigerating your garlic, you're making it less effective than the pills you might be spending money on. This is one of the biggest mistakes seniors make without realizing it. Your aging immune system needs every bit of natural antibiotic power it can get to fight off infections and stay strong. Studies show garlic can help support immune function and reduce infection risk, but only if the allicin is still there. Refrigerated garlic loses these protective benefits, along with its antimicrobial properties. The solution is surprisingly simple and will preserve those life-extending compounds. Keep garlic at 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit in a ventilated basket to retain half its lost allicin. A pantry, basement, or even a closet works perfectly. Keep garlic in mesh bags or baskets that allow airflow around each bulb. Never store garlic in sealed containers or plastic bags, which trap moisture and speed up spoilage. Proper air circulation prevents moisture buildup and keeps those beneficial enzymes active. Within days of switching to room temperature storage, you'll notice your garlic stays firmer longer and maintains that sharp, pungent aroma that signals its medicinal power. But there's one more surprising food that suffers devastating damage when stored in cold temperatures.
6. Honey's hidden weakness. How cold destroys nature's healing power. Honey stored in your refrigerator loses up to 35% of its antimicrobial power, transforming from a healing superfood into crystallized disappointment. Many seniors store honey in the refrigerator thinking cool temperatures preserve its purity and prevent spoilage, especially when you're using it medicinally for sore throats and wound healing. You probably think it works like this. Cold storage keeps honey fresh indefinitely and maintains all those therapeutic benefits you've heard about. But actually, your refrigerator introduces moisture, which is honey's greatest enemy, while destroying the very compounds that make it work like medicine. Research from the National Honey Board shows that honey stored at temperatures below 50 degrees loses up to 35% of honey's antimicrobial power, diminishing its ability to fight infections and support overall health. Refrigeration triggers rapid crystallization, where cold crystals sugar jams its healing compounds into grains. This isn't just about convenience, it's about losing the healing power that makes honey special. The cold temperatures cause the natural sugars in honey to form hard, grainy crystals that turn your smooth, golden liquid into a mass that won't dissolve properly. What most people miss is how important honey's natural antibiotic properties become as you age. Your immune system naturally weakens over time, making you more vulnerable to infections, slow-healing wounds, and seasonal illnesses. Honey's antimicrobial compounds work like nature's antibiotic, helping your body fight off harmful bacteria and viruses. When you refrigerate honey, you're throwing away more than a third of these protective benefits, reduced infection defense at a time when immunity wanes. Every spoonful you add to your tea or use for healing has been stripped of the compounds that could help keep you healthy.
The practical problems start immediately when honey crystallizes in cold storage. Try mixing crystallized honey into your morning tea. It won't dissolve properly, leaving grainy clumps floating in your cup. The texture becomes unpleasant and difficult to work with. You might try heating it to make it liquid again, but the damage to those beneficial compounds has already happened. The antimicrobial properties don't come back just because you warm it up. This is one of the biggest mistakes seniors make without realizing it. Many older adults spend money on expensive wound healing creams and antibiotic ointments when properly stored honey could provide natural healing benefits. Medical-grade honey is used in hospitals for wound care because of its powerful antimicrobial properties, but only if those properties are still intact. If you're not careful with this, things could get worse before they get better. Crystallized honey that won't mix properly gets wasted because people think it's gone bad. You end up throwing away money and missing out on the therapeutic benefits that attracted you to honey in the first place. This storage mistake literally turns medicine into mere sweetener. Store honey at 64 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, sealed away from moisture to keep it liquid and potent. Keep it away from direct sunlight, which can break down some of the beneficial compounds over time. A pantry or kitchen cupboard works perfectly. The tight seal prevents moisture from getting in, which is crucial for maintaining honey's natural antimicrobial properties. Within days of switching from refrigerated to room temperature storage, you'll notice how much easier your honey is to use and how much better it mixes into beverages. These simple changes put you back in control of your health, proving that small adjustments yield powerful results. Start today with your countertop tomatoes and pantry onions. Your heart, stomach, and taste buds will thank you.